All right, we're going to get started. So this week we are going to be studying Esther, Hadassah, and the teaching. I called it Hidden Star because she is a hidden star. She's amazing. Um, so let's get started. Okay, let's start. Join me, please. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al divrei Torah. Blessed are you, Lord our God, everlasting King, who sets us apart by his establishments and establishes us on words of Torah. And make the words of your Torah, Lord our God, pleasant in our mouth. Kulanu yorei shvecha yomda Torah hadlishma. That we would all be knowers of your name and students of your Torah for its own sake. I can't do that. Let me see. Okay. So. Okay. Go back. Okay. Oh no, why is it doing that? I'm sorry. I can't see the top of that. Can you? Okay. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Just 1 second. There it is. In the Bible, we see that Queen Esther at birth was named Hadassah, and that's how we spell it, with the Hey, Dalet, Samik, and then a Hey. Okay. So Hadassah is a myrtle, like a myrtle tree. I was thinking about it. We have a crepe myrtle here at the house. It's a myrtle tree. It's a little different from the crepe myrtle, but it's all the same family. The name Hadassah is derived from the Hebrew word Hadass, a myrtle tree. Her name was changed to Esther to hide her identity upon being taken to Shushan or Persia. Esther did not reveal her people or her kindred, for Mordecai had told her not to reveal it, according to Esther 2:10, which is really important. So she starts out immediately. She's hidden immediately. And the root of Esther is satar, samek, tav, and then a resh, to hide, conceal. To be hidden is lehidasa, or lehiseter. I'm sorry, lehiseter. So it's to hide or to conceal. So we see not only that she is physically hiding her identity, physically hiding her Jewish identity, but her name means hidden. Rabbi Shmuel Eliezer Edels, known as the Mahar Shah, explains that since man is like a tree of the field, therefore the righteous are called myrtles, like to a good tree with a pleasant smell, according to the Talmud, Megillah 13a. So I put some scriptures down pertaining to people being trees. Psalm 1:3 says, it's talking about a righteous person, and they're like a tree planted beside streams of water that will yield fruit in its season. And then we have First Chronicles 16:33. Then Shall the trees of the forest sing for joy before the Lord, for he comes to judge the earth? Well, trees don't really sing. Trees are people. And we've taught that before at our synagogue. We've taught that trees are people. As we see that the cedars are big and tall, and there's just some people that are great. And so everybody's different, but we're all different trees. So Psalm 52:8 says, but I am like a green olive tree in the house of God. I trust in the steadfast love of God forever and ever. A green olive tree, Shemen. So I have the picture there of the Hadassah, the myrtle, and about where we use that. So in Isaiah 55:12-13, it says, you shall go out with joy and be led forth in peace. The mountains and the hills will burst into song before you, and all the trees of the fields will clap their hands. Instead of the thorn bush will grow the juniper, and instead of the briars, the myrtle will grow. This will be for the Lord's renown, for an everlasting sign that will endure forever. So that's the picture that we have there, that we're seeing, on the left-hand side, we're seeing the thorn bush. The thorn bush at the bottom, and then at the woman is the juniper, and then we see on the right-hand side, we're seeing the briars, and then we're seeing the man, and it's the myrtle. And it's, they're coming together, okay, in this picture. So the myrtle has a pleasant fragrance. It's aromatic. It's an evergreen. And that's how we are. And it said, according to the rabbi, that the righteous are called myrtles. We're all trees, and we should see ourselves like the sweet smelling evergreen trees before God. And it's important to see yourself as an evergreen, not just smelling beautiful, like the myrtle, but that we're evergreen. We're full of life, and the evergreen is just pretty much it's green all year round because we have the Lord in our lives. And that's basically how Hadassah was. Why isn't it doing it? So the myrtle, we know, is used for the lulav at Sukkot. At Sukkot, there's the 4 species, and we have the willow, the myrtle, the date palm, and the etrog that the one that looks like a lemon. Okay, but it represents 4 types of people. And I'm not going to get into the details of the 4 types of people today, but they're all bound together in one, what we call a lulav, okay? And they're bound together by the braiding of the palm, and we hold it as one piece. And it's basically the unity of all the Jews coming together. Everybody's different. There's different types of people, different personalities, different gifts. But when we come together at Sukkot, we're all raised up as one when we're doing the hakafot, right? So the myrtle, like I said, has a pleasant fragrance, but it doesn't have any taste. Taste signifies the study of Torah, like a person eating the word. The myrtle represents a person who has good deeds, but does not study the Torah. So it's like a person that, maybe goes to Shabbat services, but doesn't really study on their own. Or, oh, you know what? I'm going to celebrate Purim, which is all good. All those things are good, but you need to be eating. You need to be taking in the Torah. So we see that the myrtle is fragrant, but it doesn't have taste. And I really want you to see this pertaining to Hadassah, that she has this beautiful fragrant smell. She's doing the Jewish things that Mordecai has raised her with and taught her with. But for herself, she's not feeding herself. She's not giving herself the Torah. So the myrtle, the leaves symbolize eyes. When we look at the entire lulav, okay, the willows look like a mouth. The little willow leaves look like a mouth. The myrtle, looks like the eyes. The little leaves look like eyes, and you can see the shape there. They're kind of like a pretty little almond shape. And then the date palm, signifies the spine, erect, yashar before God. You're standing upright before God. So, like I said, the myrtle leaves symbolize the eyes, according to Vayikra Rabbah 30:14. So when you see the leaves on a myrtle, just picture the eyes. Just picture the eyes. And it's fragrant, but it doesn't have taste. So the name Esther is of Persian or Babylonian origin, meaning a star. It may also refer to the Persian goddess Ishtar. So, it's really interesting to me that Esther, Hadassah, goes to Shushan, to Persia, because they're calling all the women. And immediately she has to change her name from Hadassah, to Esther. And like I said, in Persian, it means star. But in Hebrew, the root is satar, hidden. And she's immediately hidden. So the Greek Hebrew definitions from Strong's is aster, pronounced aster, probably from the base of 4766, a star, as strewn over the sky, literally or figuratively, a star. Now, this is really important. It's aster, which is a star, but it comes from astrape, which is lightning. So I just thought that was so amazing, because here's this woman that if you look at her name as Sater, it's hidden. But then you look at her name in Persia and it's a star. It's like lightning. She just shines out. She stands out. So, okay. So now we're going to Genesis 15:5. Then he brought him outside and said, "Look now toward heaven and count the stars, if you're able to number them." Continuing, "So shall your offspring be." They're going to be like the stars. The children of Israel are going to be like the stars. So numerous. Genesis 37:9. The stars bow down to Joseph in a dream. Did the stars literally bow down to Joseph? No, it was his brothers that bowed down. So we see there that they're already, it's like the Israelites are like stars. Exodus 32:13. Your descendants will be as numerous as the stars in heaven. And it's at this time that they are promised the land forever. Daniel 12:3. Those who are wise, who have chokhmah, shall shine like the brightness of the firmament. And that's Zohar. And those who turn many to righteousness are like the stars forever and ever. Hakokavim. So the word star in Hebrew is kohav. It It means blazing, like burning, as a star. And figuratively, it's also a prince. So a person who will turn many to righteousness. In other words, a person that talks to someone to lead them to God, to lead them to Torah and Judaism, or lead them to a righteous life. They're going to shine like a kohav. They're going to shine like the star forever, like a star forever. So, Esther. The root of Esther is, like I said, satar, hide or conceal, with among its derivatives, seter and sitra, both meaning hiding place, and mister, hiding place. The name Esther would have been like a hiding or hidden. The form Esther occurs in the Bible several times. It's not just in the book of Esther, it's in the Bible several times. We find that when Adam and Eve were hiding from God after they had taken from the tree of knowledge and good and evil, which they were not supposed to take, that they hide from God because they are aware of their nakedness, right? And so they're hiding from God. That word that is used there, the hiding, is actually Esther. So they are actually like Esther, they're hiding, okay, in the garden. I just thought that was amazing because, like I said, it's in the scriptures several times. It's not just in the book of Esther, but when it's used in other places, it's pretty much used as the word hiding or hidden. So Mordecai had this message delivered to Esther. He said, "Do not imagine that you, of all the Jews," and I want to stop here. This is the first time, really, in the scriptures that we see that the Israelites were called Jews. That is, they were called Judah, basically. And I think that that's really important because it's like, hey, he's telling us from the beginning, it's like, Jews, you're going to go through stuff, and you basically you're not going you're going to go through things, and you can't hide. And who knows if you've been placed in this position so that you can shine, so that you can um, walk through what your destiny is supposed to be. So he says, do not imagine that you, of all Jews, will escape with your life by being in the king's palace. On the contrary, if you keep silent in this crisis, relief and deliverance will come to the Jews from another quarter. It's like, you can keep quiet, Esther, and deliverance, God will deliver the Jews. Who knows from where, but he will deliver them in this situation. While you and your father's house will perish. And who knows, perhaps you have attained to royal position for just such a time as this. Then Esther sent back this answer to Mordecai: go, assemble all the Jews who live in Shushan and fast in my behalf. Do not eat or drink for 3 days, night or day, according to Esther 4:13-16. So they go into this fast. I do want to say something else about hidden and this fast. There's a lot of commentaries also about the fact that you don't really see God mentioned outright, but God's present throughout, but you don't really see it. You don't really see him. And it's amazing because, here, even in this sentence, it's like, go and fast. And some commentaries are, yeah, they fasted, but they didn't pray, they didn't call on God. It's like, no, they did. So I just think it's really interesting how God's not outrightly mentioned, but he's always present. And he's always there to say, I'm protecting you, I'm taking care of you, I'm there with you, no matter what's going on. So, so we see the beautiful Hadassah, the myrtle, living her life as a Jew, but not really studying who she was in Judaism. That's kind of, I feel like that's kind of like all of us at one time or another, that we know who we are in the Lord and we're trying to walk out, how we're living with God and trying to live a godly life and implementing the things that God wants us to implement as far as Judaism is concerned. And we're doing all these things, but we're not studying. And I really feel that that is so pressing in this because, like I said, the myrtle smelled really pretty, but there's no taste. There's no taste to the myrtle. So she's not eating the word. And there's a scripture in the New Testament that says, oh my gosh, I can't remember where it's at, but it says, to some you smell of life, and to others you smell of death. And basically, those that have turned to the Lord, they smell of life. It's like there's a life in them because, the Lord has changed, and woken up their spirit. And then there's people that don't know the Lord, and you can see they're just, it's so sad. You see this dying, that's taking place spiritually in that person. So she has eyes to see, Hadassah has eyes to see the world through Judaism, but she doesn't have a strong foundation in the Torah. So she's taken to Shushan, to Persia, and her identity is immediately hidden, Seter. And so her name is changed to Esther, hidden. But we also see in the land of Shushan, Esther, through the Persian meaning, that Esther means a star or lightning, astrape. So she shines in Persia. So that's how we have like at the bottom, she starts out as this fragrant tree, but then she goes and she's just this shining star, but a shining star that's hidden. It was as if Esther was a hiding light, or a light that would show the Jews their hidden strength. The light of Judaism, or the powerful lightning weapon within each and every one of us, every one of them. Esther was that light. And this made me think of when we celebrate Hanukkah and we light, the very first candle we light is the shamash. And we use that candle to light the other candles. And that's kind of like what I see here with Esther, that she's like that light, and she's giving that light to others by telling them, pray, fast, and basically turn to God during this time. And okay, so in Genesis 15:5, it says, look now toward heaven and count the stars, if you're able to number them. So we can read this now as, look now toward heaven and count the hidden lights. The hidden lights. We can see the stars, but I want you to start looking at them as hidden lights, like hidden Jews in our presence, that we are like hidden Jews here on earth, but they're like hidden Jews in the sky. I mean, we look up and the sky is dark and you just see these little twinkles. If you look up, just start looking at them and going, oh my God, those are all the Jews. I really want you to start doing that. And then he said to him, so shall your descendants be. The descendants of Abraham would be the hidden ones. There's a hidden light within each of us. It's a spark. Bereshit Rabbah 91:7 said, Joseph remembered and said to them, they said to him, we are all the sons of one man. They had the spark of the divine spirit. It's taught that at creation, it's like God is just this huge power and he makes himself so small, but the little sparks, the light within God goes out, and it goes out to all of his creation, to everything he creates. He creates man, he creates animals, he creates trees, everything that he creates. There's that spark. And we should be able to look at everything, every living thing. We should be able to look and see some aspect of God. And just like we learned a few weeks back about the olive, that we should be able to see the olive on everybody's face. Remember the vav and the yod on the top and the yod at the bottom? We should be able to see God's face, God's imprint on every person. It's the same type of thing. We should be able to see that spark of life, that divine spirit in everyone. So Rashi says on Genesis 37:33-2, Rashi says, a spark of the divine spirit flickered within him. The commentary on Joseph pertaining to Potiphar's wife tempting. It's like Potiphar tempted Joseph because she saw that spark in him. And he, having that spark, knew, I'm not gonna do anything wrong. He ran away because that spark, it like grows, it should, grow brighter within us, especially when we see that temptation coming at us, so that we can just turn and walk away. It's like, nope, I know who I am. I know what I'm about. I know how I need to walk and what I need to do in this situation. I know what the right thing is because I've studied the Torah and I know God's ways and I know what God requires of me and wants of me. So, and who knows, says in Esther, and who knows, perhaps you have attained to your royal position for just such a time as this. Esther 4:14. Such a time as this, an appointed time. Just like a Shabbat is a Moed and a Mikra, and we have all these festivals and they're Moeds and Mikras. God has an appointed time for each and every one of us. Bereshit Rabbah 91:7 said, Joseph remembered and said to them, we are all sons of one man. And they had the divine spark. Like I said, Rashi said, it flickered within him. And it's flickering within us. The spark is with each of us. God gave us that spark at creation. And we're all like Esther. We're hidden. No matter how much we're out there, some of us are out there and we're doing Jewish things. Some men are wearing their kippas and their tzitzit, or we wear our talit on Shabbat. We celebrate the Sabbath and light the candles. But in doing all of those things, like I said, we're all like Esther. We're hidden. We're a hidden star that shines. It has a beautiful aroma, just like the myrtle. And we need to find out what role we play in God's plan and in his timing, because I really want all of you to see, and I'm saying this for myself too. I really want us all to see that God uses all of us, and we are so important in his plan, and we need to hear from God, and we need to study, and we need to see exactly what our gift is, what we're supposed to be doing, so that we can help elevate, the kingdom here on earth, so that we can be that, hidden star and shine brighter and brighter. And so that people look at us and they can see the spark that God has given us, so that we're sharing that light with others. So that is it. Yeah. That's all I have to say for this week. And I know it's a short message. I like doing short messages. But if you have any questions, let me know. And I hope you enjoyed the teaching. And I hope you all and see yourself like the myrtle that smells beautiful, but also see yourself like a hidden star that shines for God. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Pat. All right. No questions? Okay. God bless you guys. Have a good week. Shalom, shalom.